Hi, in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make your own very firm mattress. Now, I'm at a beds store over here. This is a very popular bed store in South Africa, and I've selected a few things. I only want the mattress, and I've selected the length 107, and I wanted extra length and mattress only, so without the base. Now, have a look at how many options I can choose. There's quite a few. There's 24 here. Now, I'm going to choose my comfort guide. Now, have a look. It says plush, medium, gentle, firm, very firm, and I'm going to choose very firm, and boom, I've only got 2 options. And guess what? I've actually owned this brand. I've had 3 mattresses from this company. I've had their pinnacle of firmness, and I can tell you that it's still not firm enough. So not only have I tried very firm mattresses, as well as from other manufacturers using spring, not just foam, I've realized that I won't be buying any mass-produced mattress ever again, because I will not pay this price of, this is equivalent to about $550. I now make my own mattresses. They are firmer and they last longer. And I'm speaking from experience, because there is the very firmest mattress, which I had less than 2 years already losing its firmness. And I rotate my mattress every month, and I'm over 6'1" and I weigh about 90 kilograms. So my weight is spread pretty evenly, and my mattress just compresses too much. And this is a test actually measuring how much the mattress distorted. And guess what? This isn't even after 2 years. What happens is we put a 5 kilogram plate here, and then we measure how much it dips. Now for me, this is just not good enough. So I decided to make my own mattresses instead of paying premium for these so-called very firm mattresses. Because the word very firm is relative. I've slept on a futon most of my childhood life, and I can tell you that that is very firm. While futons are amazing, in my opinion, you're kind of sleeping very close to the ground unless you get a wooden base. But now if you have a partner who also sleeps in the same bedroom, now you got a futon base versus a regular mattress, it looks a bit funny. Also, futons need quite a lot of maintenance. What I mean by that is you have to roll them, roll the corners, leave them in the sun so they puff out a bit so they're a little bit more comfortable. Quite a lot of work, and they're very heavy, and it's quite cumbersome to try and carry it outside and leave it in the sun, etc. Also, it doesn't quite have the shape of a regular mattress. So if you have your futon mattress next to your partner's regular mainstream mattress, it can cause some unnecessary argument. So in this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make a very firm mattress that can still be put on a normal base and be passed off as a regular mattress, even though it is really firm. Now, one of the reasons why I no longer sleep on a futon is because I battle here in South Africa to find a pure cotton futon. They're mostly polycotton, and also sleeping on the floor for a person who's over 6 foot is a little bit challenging, going to the bathroom and that. And I'm also not a very flexible person, so here is my solution. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to use different densities of foam. And here in front of the camera, you can see 3 different pieces of foam. Now this one over here is a V3019, and this one over here is a V3016. Now the 16, being a lower number, is slightly softer than the 19. So the 19 is a bit firmer. I'll show you an informal deflection test in a moment. Now you can adjust the firmness of your mattress by making the foam thinner, because if you make it thinner, it's closer to the ground or to the plank or to the base of the bed. So if you make it thicker, this one is slightly thicker, it has the impression of the mattress being slightly softer. Now, having slept directly on a hard floor with just a blanket, I've noticed that it can get quite uncomfortable, and that's why one of these on top of the floor is really helpful. Now what you can do is even put 2 together. That makes it easier if you lie sideways for your hip. Your hip should be able to make a bit of an impression in the foam. Now what I've done is I've taken the softer, less dense piece and put it on top of the firmer piece. Now if you like something that's really firm, this works because you can lie directly on the floor with just these 2 pieces of foam. Now the reason I put the softer one on top is it's quite nice to have a plush feeling on the top, then the slightly firmer one is at the bottom. You can see how my hand can make an impression quite easily, but on this one not so much. This is the high density, they're both high density foam, but this is even firmer. So the softer one goes on top. Now the problem is this is very thin, and if you sleep next to somebody who's got a base and a mattress, it's almost like you're on the lower level. So one way to circumvent that is to add some chip foam, which also does help if you lie sideways. The chip foam does absorb a bit of the hip. Right over here I've got a 10 centimeter thick piece of chip foam. Now the chip foam is much firmer than that other virgin foam. So what you can do is then add those top layers onto the chip foam, and it'll add height to your mattress. So then at least you're not lying on a very thin piece of foam. You now got this chip foam. This also is quite useful because it adds height, and by adding height it's easier to get on and off the mattress, and it does have a little bit of sponginess. If you're somebody who likes to fall into the bed, at least it will absorb a bit. Most mattresses use a bit of chip foam as the backbone of the mattress. Now I've just put a 5 kilogram weight there, and even if I compress it a bit, the thickness of this weight is 25 millimeters. So over there it's 25 millimeters, but over here I'm going to show you what the measurement is. And in this case it's 24 millimeters. So we can see that this is not deflecting much. And just to show you, with 3 pieces, these weights are not exactly the same. So that's 78 millimeters. And then here on the side, it's 76 millimeters. So I'm demonstrating that the chip foam is very firm, because 15 kilograms is not dropping the chip foam down much at all. So I can use the chip foam quite effectively to make the mattress thicker without making it that much softer. I can tell you that it takes months before you feel like there's an impression in this chip foam. So what I do is I use this chip foam to make the mattress thicker, and then I just put the thin layers on top. So there, for example, I've got 10 centimeters of chip foam, followed by 2 centimeters of the high density foam, followed by another 2 centimeters of also high density but a little bit softer foam. So if I just do the deflection test, 20 centimeters from here and 70 centimeters from there, you can see that using both these foams, having been left in the sun, now that plays an important role, because I'm working in the sun here, and what the sun does is it makes a foam a bit softer. That is one of the reasons why when I design a mattress, I use certain foam on the top and certain foam on the bottom, so that when you flip it, you can actually have a different experience, which I'll demonstrate when I'm making the mattress. In this case, I've got 2 centimeters or 20 mils here and 20 mils here. But if I was making this for summer, I would actually just have the 1, because what happens in summer is this gets softer, whereas in winter, it tends to be firmer. Just something to be aware of. Now, let's just have a look at the deflection test. Right, so the weight is 25 millimeters, and over here at the end, it's 16 millimeters. So it has gone down a little bit. And now with the 2 weights, the weights are 52 millimeters, and over here it is 32 millimeters. And now with 15 kilograms on the mattress, 78, and here it's 51. And if I just use the 1, it's now gone up to 58 millimeters. So you can play around with the different thicknesses to get your level of firmness. Now it might be quite difficult to determine which level of comfort you want. So what I do is I use these thin sheets. I first try sleep with just 1, then I try with 2, then I swap them around, but usually I like the more plush one first, then the more firm one. And then you might even want 3. You might even want them a little bit thicker. So these are very cheap. So I've determined what's comfortable for me, especially in the summer and winter months, because it's different. And as you can see, this gives quite a bit more than, say, this one. This one, you can see how it barely is making an impression, while this one makes an impression much easier. And obviously you can measure that. So this is the one I normally have on the top layer, while this one is lower. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the mattress. Right, so to glue the foam onto the other foam, I use the contact adhesive. This is like a fabric glue. You can use it for carpeting, shoes, things like that. I've mixed it up and it's now ready to be applied to the mattress. Now, just a note about the products you use. Please check the safety data sheet and review it thoroughly. What's also important is the stability and reactivity of the product. You might also want to use a product that has had toxicological testing. You can also check whether the foam or the glue has been certified. For example, there are different certifications to confirm whether the product meets certain standards to do with chemicals. Now, many people put a mattress protector, but that doesn't really stop the fumes from coming out of the mattress. So you always want to use products that you are comfortable with for their long-term use. Now, if your mattress was not cut to size, you might need to shape it a bit. Now, cutting foam is easy. You can just use a knife or a blade. This is a blade from a hacksaw. This mattress is a 3/4 extra length, so it is a 107 centimeters across, which is the width, and then the length is 2 meters. So I'm just going to verify the measurement. Maybe cut it a bit more to size, and then I will just glue the mattress together. All right, so I have already got this cut to size, and it is 108. That's fine. It's supposed to be 107, but that's fine. Now the length is supposed to be 2 meters. Right, once you are happy with the size, I just need to apply the adhesive, and I just use a scraper. Try to get it around the edges, because you don't want the other layer of foam to peel off. Right, I flipped it over and I'm just compressing it so that the glue can move evenly between all the layers of the foam. But I'm just going to add an additional layer on this side so that the mattress can be flipped during the different seasons. I'm just using one piece on the top side, and this is actually going to be the firm side for summer. Right, now that the glue's dried, there is this overhang. This piece of foam is a bit longer than the remaining foam, so I can just cut it to the right size. Right, so now that the sides are all flush and they've been cut to size, or you can take some batting and wrap the whole mattress so that it has a more of an even finish. If your foam had gaps, you can take the batting and just stick it down in the places where you want to fill any holes. Right, so there's a little bit of imperfections here, and what we normally do is we use batting. So this is just this thin material. You'd actually wrap this whole thing so it smooths it out. Now, I'm not going to use a batting. Right, so I have this jacquard, which is a cover, which I'm going to put over the entire mattress. It is specially made for this size mattress. Right, so here is the mattress, and you can see that if I stand on it, it's pretty firm. And one of the nice things about using the chip foam and making it really thick is it remains pretty firm on the edges. So even if I stand here, it actually holds my weight pretty well. All right, I'll just quickly show you the weight test. All right, so it's 25 over there. On the edge, it's about 23 millimeters. All right, 78 over there. And over here, it's 56. Now, the nice thing about this mattress is, as I said, the one side is actually firmer than the other. So if I quickly just show you, you might be able to see that the impression is deeper, and that is because I've got two layers here. They're both high density foam, but the one on the top is much softer than the one underneath. So that is why it goes in a bit more. So if you're someone who likes to sleep on their face, this at least allows your face to make an impression. Although, as you can see, there's not much more give after that. Yes, it's got that more plush feeling and it's more comfortable. But then once you've compressed that top layer, can see it's pretty much going nowhere and you're already into the backbone. And now it is 42. So yes, it has compressed a bit more. So what's nice about this is, as I said, it depends on the season, and you might be in the mood for a little bit more softness. Then you can flip the mattress the other way and have this more plush feeling. So this mattress is really firm, and even if I lie on it, you can see that my hips do not go that far into the mattress. There's not that much give. It's a little bit less firmer than lying on the floor. It's definitely more comfortable than lying on the floor. This is about 85% similar to lying directly on the floor. And if you really want to get that on the floor feeling, you can put just a thin piece of the chips and then your comforting layer on top. But the only problem with this is it's quite difficult to have a sheet go over this. And that is one of the reasons why I use the thick chip foam and then just the thinner high density foams over it. While this is very useful, this is maybe fine if you want to sleep directly on the floor, but I wanted to have a mattress per se, so that at least it's got enough body to wrap a heated blanket or a mattress protector or your sheet. And also it gives you that extra height. Now just have a look at this chip foam, because not all chip foam is the same, and this is very firm. Right, this is another mattress which I made many years ago. You can see I've also got the two different thicknesses here, but what I'm bringing to your attention is the chip foam. Now this chip foam is quite a bit softer than the chip foam used to make this other mattress. So just be aware that not all chip foam is the same, and the only way you can really determine that is by doing a little test, and that is why I use those weight plates and measure the deflection. Right, just showing you this chip foam. This has a bit of a higher density and has less deflection when I use the weight plates. Now here is the base, and I'm going to put the mattress on top here. And many people ask me, should you have a piece of wood here, or can you put the mattress directly on the base? Now this particular base, the gap between these cross members is too wide. There should be at least 10 of these horizontal cross beams along the travel. And if you look along here, you can see that it is even drooping a little bit. So this is not ideal. So what I recommend is just putting a piece of wood across here. And I do know that mattress manufacturers say that the mattress needs to breathe but for me that's not that important. More important is that it's firm and that there can be no sagging. Now if you can't put a piece of wood, you can even take board. I've got 2 layers of board here. This is hardboard, and I've just put it on here, and then I can hit it down. The base cover actually goes over the wood. You don't even see it. It maintains the horizontal plane. Ideally, it would have been better to use a full piece of wood, but 2 boards is also fine if you're not a very heavy person. Even if you are using the mattress with that chip foam, the spine, as I said, I still recommend a base that is either completely wood or a slatted base with at least 10 slats. If you are going to be using a board, it's probably better to have the rough side up rather than the smooth side. You might need hook and loop fastener or Velcro so that the mattress doesn't slide. And that's what it looks like on the base. And even though it's so thick, this is still extremely firm because look, I'm sitting right on the edge and you can see how supportive it is. Most mattresses would not provide this amount of support right on the edge. One of the problems with sleeping directly on the floor is getting up from the floor to go to the bathroom, and this is why I prefer this mattress, because it's on the base, but yet it's still almost as firm as sleeping on the floor, but then I don't have to do a gym workout getting on and off the firm mattress. A benefit of using that thick spine is the knee impression. When getting on and off a very thin piece of foam on the floor, it can be uncomfortable for the knees and the hips. It does allow your knee to go into the mattress a little bit, but obviously when you lie horizontally and you're completely flat, then yes, it's extremely firm once again. Alright, so how does the mattress I made compared to the mainstream extra firm ultra heavy duty 140 kilogram? This was the firmest mainstream mattress in the country that I reside, and this is my findings. So there's an example. There's the 5 kilogram weight plate. Now over there it's 25 millimeters, and over here it's 2 millimeters. So the weight plate depressed about 23 millimeters. So that's very comfortable. Now on the one that I made, it only depressed 2 millimeters. And then having a look at the 15 kilogram weight, so there on the side it has depressed 50 millimeters because it only measures 28 millimeters there, whereas the firmer mattress is measuring 56 millimeters, so it only depressed 22 millimeters. You could say that it's twice as firm because it only depressed 22 millimeters, while here it depressed 50 millimeters. So what I'm saying is mainstream mattresses, which are advertised as very firm, are actually, in my opinion, not that firm. So it's quite difficult to get a very firm mattress. So it's quite arbitrary because you could put as many layers of foam in as you want. As I've shown, you can just add a layer or subtract a layer. So therefore, when I say 22 millimeters, I mean you could make it 30 millimeter deflection, you could make it 5 millimeter. But the point I'm trying to show is that it's quite easy to make a very firm mattress. And how much does it cost? Well, here's the costing. The foam sheets I used is about $12 per sheet. So on this particular mattress, I used 3 thin foam sheets of 2 centimeters per sheet. So it was 3 sheets. And then the chip foam was 10 centimeters, which is about $53. The glue is about $14. The jacquard's quite expensive, and it was made specifically for this mattress, and that's $35. And it is stretchy. So what's nice is if you want to add another layer of foam, it's easy. You just open the zip, put the foam there. You can put glue if you want. You can put the foam there and then close the jacquard, and the jacquard will stretch. So the total cost is under $150. Now, my old mattress, which had a 25-year warranty, was actually 9,000 Rand, which is over $480. So what I like about it is that it still has a body. What I mean by that is you can put a fitted sheet, you can put a heated blanket. It's still got a height. So if you're sleeping next to someone on a regular mattress, you can compete, and if they're next to each other, it doesn't look out of place. One person sleeping on a futon and one person sleeping on a regular mattress. So my conclusion is that I found that the premium firmer mattress tend to be thicker, which makes no sense. They should be thinner, because any foam, no matter what foam it is, will get softer over time. So the more foam there is to get thinner, the more it will deflect. So I actually think that firmer should be thinner and firmer should actually be cheaper. The warranty, that's not worth it, because then you have to jump through their hoops. Did you do this? Did you do that? They come to your house and want to take measurements, and then it has to have deformed quite a lot before they'll offer you a warranty replacement. And for someone who sleeps on an extra, like you really want a very firm mattress, 5 centimeters of deflection is a lot for someone who sleeps on a very firm mattress. So therefore, for people who love very firm mattresses, I'm wary of mainstream mattresses because the warranty is just not worth it. I'd rather make my own mattress and replace it every 3 or so years. And the beauty is I can adjust the firmness by flipping it or adding and subtracting layers. And as I said, the cover can be made of a stretchy material, so you can adjust this based on your needs. So you can actually sleep on it and see, okay, it's too firm, then you can add another layer, and the jacquard here, you can just stretch it, and then if it's not firm enough, you can remove a layer, so it gives you that freedom. So no thank you, I won't be buying these very thick, extra heavy duty, no weight limit, blah blah blah, 25-year warranty, expensive mattresses when I can just make my own. I've been sleeping on this mattress for 2 years before I made this video. Alright, thanks for watching, and cheers.